Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. And welcome to today's webinar, Getting Started with Mailchimp, Grow Your Audience with Signup Forms. I'm Kayla, and I'm on the Strategic Services team here at Mailchimp. Along with my teammate Nicole, we're going to be your hosts for today.
Hey
Actually,
everyone.
pause for a sec. I'm so sorry to do this. Do you want your image here? I just realized.
Oh no, I was gonna say I don't care because people don't know.
Okay. Sorry. Let's just start from the beginning and we can cut it then. Actually, I'm just going to update the slide really fast just because I think it's nice to be. This is my voice.
Oh, I didn't mean to put my webcam on.
Sign up. Let me find. What am I looking for? Maybe import. There we go. All right, let's take it from the top then. Sorry. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. And welcome to today's webinar, Getting Started with Mailchimp, Grow Your Audience with Signup Forms. I'm Kayla, and I'm on the Strategic Services team here at Mailchimp. Along with my teammate Nicole, we're going to be your host for today.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Just as a reminder, we are working from home, and we appreciate your patience if you hear any background noise or if you experience brief delays due to internet connections. So let's take a look at the path of our learning journey today. We'll be coming back to this slide throughout the webinar to show you how far that we've come and what's coming up. In this webinar, we'll define some important terminology to help you better understand how Mailchimp sign-up forms work. We'll then introduce you to some key concepts to know and types of forms that you can set up. Then we'll head into the app to go over audience settings and fields. We'll also show you the ins and outs of how our form builder works. And finally, we'll walk through creating a few different types of forms together for our business, which is called the Potted Planter.
After today's webinar, we'll share a recording of the session, as well as a list of helpful resources on the topics that we're going to cover today. Now, if you're in need of any technical assistance during or after the webinar, we'd recommend navigating to our website at mailchimp.com/help. And this is where you can find our guides and tutorials, which is also known as our knowledge base. And it is a free help center for all of our customers to access. And so with all of that said, let's go ahead and get started on today's content with the first step in our learning journey, which is the key concepts to know.
First, the foundation of a great email marketing plan is an audience of contacts who want to hear from you and engage with your brand. If you don't have a lot of contacts yet, you can grow your audience using a sign-up form that you build in Mailchimp. You're probably most familiar with sign-up forms that pop up on a website when you're shopping online. Maybe you were enticed by seeing that signing up for emails would keep you in the loop about new products, or maybe there was a welcome discount that was interesting to you. When you were prompted to enter in your email address and some other basic information like your first name or your birthday, you were using a sign-up form that then added you to the business's audience. Sign-up forms will help you start to collect the data that you need to send your own contacts personalized, relevant content. In Mailchimp, we have various sign-up form options to fit the needs of your business.
You can embed a form on your website, use a pop-up form, or share your sign-up form by posting a link on all of your digital channels so that people can sign up from any device. We'll dive into the different sign-up form options Mailchimp offers a little later on in today's tutorial. But why use sign-up forms? We found placing a pop-up form on your site can increase your audience growth rate by up to 50%. These forms are one of the easiest and most effective ways to collect new subscribers. When people sign up through a form, they're giving you permission to contact them, or what we call opting in. As Mailchimp is a permission-based marketing service, we do require express, verifiable permission from contacts in order to add them to your audience. This means we need to know when and from what source a subscriber opted in. So let's take a moment here and just talk about opting in a little bit more.
Mailchimp audiences are considered single opt-in by default. And this means that each time someone fills out and submits your sign-up form, we'll add them to your audience right away. This makes it easy for people to join your audience, which can be helpful if you're capturing customers on the go. We also offer the double opt-in sign-up method, which requires an extra step of verifying your email. When someone submits their information through your sign-up form, they'll then receive an email asking them to confirm that sign-up. This extra step is a way to ensure contacts do want to be added to your audience and that their email address was typed in correctly. If you have received a high volume of bounces, unsubscribes, or complaints in the past, double opt-in is recommended. Additionally, due to GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation, and other European Union privacy laws, if your store's primary contact address is in the EU, your audiences may be double opt-in by default. And for more information about GDPR, we'd recommend checking out our website. Within your audience and your account, you can configure these different settings related to your sign-up process, like opt-in method and GDPR fields. We'll show you where to find and edit these a bit later on in today's webinar.
All right, so before we discuss the different types of forms that we offer in Mailchimp, let's also just take a moment to briefly talk about the elements that make up a form. So here you can see an example of one of our Mailchimp sign-up forms. You'll notice that the form is pretty simple here. We're focused on collecting information that we need from our subscribers in order to market to them. We're also including a plant image to represent our brand up here at the top, which is the potted planter. Now you can see a variety of things we're asking for, like first name, last name, and email address. And each of these pieces of information are referred to as fields in Mailchimp. And you can customize which fields you'd like to include on your form. With these fields, you can collect data and create segments in order to organize your audience by different criteria. We'll be coming back to fields and how you can manage them in just a bit when we're in the app. Now, but at the bottom of the form here is the subscribe button. If your audience is set to single opt-in, which we just talked about a moment ago, the customer would be added to your audience once they've entered in their information on the form. But if your audience is set to double opt-in, once the customer hits this button, they'll receive an email to their inbox asking them to confirm that they do want to subscribe. Now, you can also add images and further customize the look and feel of this form as desired.
So going into the next part of our learning journey, we're going to walk through the types of forms that you can set up with Mailchimp. And then later on, we'll hop into the app and show you how you can create these. Now, there are sign-up forms for you to share on social media or other communication channels. And then there are also sign-up forms that you can add directly to your website. So let's talk through a couple of different shareable form options that you can publish and manage in Mailchimp. So first is the regular hosted sign-up form, which we just took a look at together in the last example. So when you create a Mailchimp audience, we'll automatically generate an easy-to-use shareable form for you. So you can see that our form is pretty simple here, just asking for a couple of touch points, but you can customize this form as much as you want and then share it through a link with potential subscribers across all of your marketing channels. Note that this form does not live on your website. It's simply a link that you can share to quickly get people to subscribe to your audience. So here is the actual live form. Somebody could type in their email and subscribe. So we got to this form by going into our Mailchimp audience, grabbing that URL that we mentioned that we can share, and then we pasted the link into our web browser. And once we're in the app together, we'll show you how to actually find that link and then share it out with your potential fans. So now let's say that you want to actually add a form to your website to collect subscribers directly. There are two types of forms available to add to your site, and those are the pop-up form and the embedded form, and we'll talk about the pop-up form first. This form appears inside a pop-up window on your website based on criteria that you set. You can create and design the form in Mailchimp and then paste the form's code into your website to make it go live.
You can design and preview this type of form right in our easy-to-use form builder without any custom coding. So right here, you can see an example of what this form builder would look like on this slide. Next up here, there's the embedded form. With an embedded form, you'll choose the type of form that you want to display, and then we'll give you the code to add to your site. And so right here, you can see an example of a simple embedded form. As a reminder, the embedded form will live on your website, and it's often placed in the sidebar or the footer of your site. Now, if you want to customize these forms further, you or someone you know would need to be comfortable with editing HTML. And as this is a more advanced task, we definitely recommend just keeping this in mind before getting started with creating one. So to wrap up this section, let's just go over the differences between an embedded and a pop-up form.
So with Mailchimp pop-up forms, you can design them right within our drag and drop form builder. However, embedded forms do require some knowledge of coding if you want to customize them further beyond our basic default settings. Pop-up forms will actually pop up on a website when a new visitor lands there and then go away once the user either subscribes or closes out of the form. Embedded forms are going to live more permanently on your website, and you can't close out of them the same way that a pop-up can.
All right, so now let's go ahead and briefly touch on form integrations and plugins. Sometimes you might have a very specific idea in mind for what you need in a form. If none of our form options work for you, or if you need to set up your form through an integrated platform, take a look at the integrations we offer. From e-commerce to social media, all of our integration options can be found in our directory at mailchimp.com/integrations. For example, if you're already using a sign-up form that was created outside of Mailchimp, this is where you can come to find a supported integration. And right here, that's what the integrations page looks like on our site.
And just going a step further, if you are familiar with custom coding and you do want more complete control over your sign-up form process and all of your opt-in settings, you do have the option to code your sign-up form from the ground up. You would use our API, which allows third parties to pass subscriber information back into Mailchimp. And of course, this is advanced territory, and it would most likely require a developer or a Mailchimp expert. So if you do want to go this route and you need more developer assistance, you can check out our experts directory at mailchimp.com/experts. And you'll find a directory of specialists who can help you. And this is what that directory looks like. Note that you can filter by the location and the language of the expert, as well as their specialty. So there are lots of options. Create your form on your own, use an integration, or work with an expert to create something custom. If you're not sure which is right for you, we'd encourage you to try a few different types of forms to test them out. And after you set them up, wait a few weeks so that you can measure the performance of each form. So we're going to go back to our learning journey here for just a moment. We've covered some key concepts and types of forms. So now we're going to head into our Mailchimp account. We're going to start by going over some audience settings and fields. And once we understand those, we'll put that knowledge into practice together in our form builder. So here we are on the main account page. So to access our audience dashboard, we're going to select audience here in the left navigation menu. And this will bring us right to the audience dashboard. So you'll notice here on the left side menu, in addition to this overview dashboard, you can also quickly access a view of all of your contacts, your sign-up forms, all of your organizational tools like tags and segments, and other options here.
All right, so now that we're on our audience dashboard, we're just gonna wanna double check that we're working in the correct audience. So up here at the top left from this current audience drop-down menu, we wanna select the retail customers audience because that's the one we wanna work with, but you always just wanna verify that you're in the right one if you have multiple audiences. Now from here, let's go over to the right, and then we're gonna select this manage audience drop-down right here. From this dropdown, let's go ahead and click into Settings. So many settings for each of your audiences can be changed or edited here, such as audience name and default. And this is where you can edit the type of opt-in for your audience, which we discussed earlier. So that can be single or double. Or you could edit your default from name and email address right from here.
You can also enable and edit GDPR fields and settings if those are applicable by selecting the option here. And scrolling down, audience fields and merge tags is a place to add fields to your audience database and change the merge tags associated with them. You'll remember we talked about fields earlier to describe different information that you'll collect on your audience, like email address, first name, city, country, etc. So you can then use merge tags to insert this personalized content from your audience into the campaigns that you send. Anytime that you want to add additional fields to your sign-up forms, like being able to collect a customer's phone number or their birthday, you would come here to add in that new field.
Now below this, you're also going to see the required email for their content, which is where you can edit contact information about your audience and permission reminders. So for example, this is where you could edit your store's address, and that's the one that shows up in your email footer. But from here, let's just go ahead and go back and click into audience fields and merge tags. So information about the contacts in your audience are stored in audience fields. You can edit these fields to meet your needs here or through our form builder when you're setting up your forms. The information that you collect through these fields can be seen in your audience's contact table, which is where you can see a list of all of your contacts, as well as individual contacts profile pages. So here you can see we have fields for things like the email address, the first name field, and last name right here. On this page, we can add more audience fields or remove some to help us customize what shows up on our sign-up forms based on the information that we wish to collect.
Next to each field, you'll see the option to make the field visible or required. If a field is visible, it will show up on your sign-up form. Required means that someone filling out your form won't be able to submit it without inputting that information. This page is also where you can set fields to personalize the information that you want to collect from your contacts. So for example, do you want to collect birthdays so you can send discounts on a contact's birthday? Or do you want to collect zip code or other information specific to your business so that you can target by factors like location? So if you do, you can do so by selecting Add a Field here at the bottom. So for the birthday example, you can select the birthday field option. And then in the drop-down, we can choose the date format based on things like location. And then we can name our field birthday. And then just like that, we can include this field on our sign-up form going forward. And note that you can create as many audience fields as you want to help you collect the information that you need about your contacts.
Now let's see where the information that you collect in the audience fields here will live within your Mailchimp account. So from here, let's head to our contact table, which we just talked about, which is that list view of all of our contacts. And to do this, we can select all contacts from the left navigation audience panel here. So let's just click in. And so here we are on the contact table. This is where you can view all of the contacts in your audience, as well as search for individual contacts using this magnifying glass. You can update their information from here and so much more. So note that here at the top of the table, we can see a variety of categories like the first name field or the last name field, phone number, and the birthday field. And that's the birthday field we just set up. So these categories here correspond to those audience fields we were just working with.
Whenever a contact fills out this information on your sign-up form, again, this is where you can come to see it in your audience. If you do import new contacts into your audience and this information lives in your import, you'd be able to see it here in the contact table as well. A best practice that we recommend is to collect information that you need to know from your subscribers in order to effectively market to them. So think about the forms that you filled out. It's a task that you want to be able to accomplish without investing too much time but you're still providing relevant, important information. So we're going to jump back into our learning journey here for just a moment. And in the next portion of today's tutorial, we're going to move on and talk about the different form options that you can find in your Mailchimp audience. So let's go ahead and head back into the app. So we're back on our audience here. And from the left audience menu, we're going to go ahead and select Sign Up Forms. I'm able to see a list of all of our form options here.
And so here you're going to see a few different choices, which we mentioned earlier in the webinar. So there's the form builder, embedded forms, subscriber pop-up, and form integrations if you're looking to connect. So let's just start from the top here by selecting the form builder link. The form builder is a tool you'll use to design, build, translate, and share your various Mailchimp forms. This includes emails and messages that are part of the sign-up process. So like the confirmation thank you page someone would see after signing up successfully through your Mailchimp sign-up form. Now, just as a note, keeping consistency across the design of these forms and emails will help guide your audience through the process of becoming engaged subscribers with your brand.
You can also see here for this main sign-up form, we have a sign-up form URL. We referenced this a little bit earlier on in the webinar, and this is that link that you can share with your sign-up potential subscribers to sign up to the form, and then, of course, your audience. So now let's talk about what types of forms can be found and edited in this builder. So from the dropdown here, there are 4 categories. We have subscribe, unsubscribe, update profile, and other bits. So we're going to talk through each of these. So first up, we have the subscribe section, which includes forms that you can customize as a part of your audience's subscription process, such as the live sign-up form that we showed you earlier on in the webinar. The forms in this section will vary based on which opt-in method that you use with your audience. So if you do use double opt-in, which requires contacts to verify their email address, you'll also see a sign up thank you page and opt-in confirmation email listed as options here. So in the interest of time, we won't go through all of these forms in depth today, but we are going to send out a resource that will break down each of these form types for you.
But let's just quickly talk about the other sections as well. So under this unsubscribe section, which are the forms your contacts will see when they unsubscribe from your email marketing, you'll see pages such as the unsubscribe success page, seen here. And then next under here is the forms in the update profile section, which will show you what contacts will see when they request to update their profile information. So like their email address, their group preferences, or audience information. This section is where you'll find the profile update form right here. And this form is what you can send to your contacts, requesting them to update their information periodically. For example, you could utilize it to ask subscribers to join new groups that you set up, or enter their information for a new field you've set up recently, such as a birthday field, so that you can send them coupons during their birthday month. This form can be linked in your campaigns by using an update profile merge tag.
And lastly, this section of other bits, which displays miscellaneous forms and pages connected to your audience. In this section, you'll see the forward to a friend form, which is a form that subscribers will see when they click a forward to friend link in your campaigns. So now let's talk through how to set up your different forms. The form builder is made up of 3 main sections, which are the build it, design it, and translate it tabs. And you'll use these to customize all of your forms, sign up response emails, and miscellaneous pages. So first up, we have the Build It tab. And this tab is where you'll add structure and content to your sign up form and response emails. You can use this area to add or remove audience fields and change field settings from these different right side menus.
For example, maybe we wanted to add a text field to the sign up form. If so, we could do so by selecting text right here in the right menu, which will add a new text field to the sign-up form right away. And then we can name it. And since our business is the Potted Planner, we sell plants, maybe we want to ask our customers what their favorite type of plant is. So we could add a text field as we just did, and then name it favorite plant So let's type that in order to collect that information going forward. These fields are the same as the audience fields we saw just a moment ago when we were setting up the birthday field, for example. We're just now setting them up directly within the form builder, but this data will still be shown in your contact table. Now, since we're under field settings here, we can select to edit the field name if we wanted to change it ever. We could hide certain fields. Maybe we don't want to show this at a certain point. Or make any other adjustments as needed. All right, let's go ahead and save this field. And now let's go ahead and work with a different one. For example, we currently have a group category set up in our audience for gardening level, which is right down here. So let's go ahead and click on this. And this is where subscribers can tell us if they're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced level at gardening. And as a quick side reminder, groups function like categories in Mailchimp. They're meant to be contact facing, so you can collect information based on what your contacts tell you about themselves or their preferences. However, say we want to add a group option for expert to the sign-up form. We just scroll to the bottom of the form, select the group like we did, and then scroll back up to the right, and then we'll select the Add an Option button. Now here we're just going to type in a new group option for expert, and then we can save the field. Now, just as a note, also in the field settings, I'm just going to point out a couple of quick things because I don't want to forget. We also have the delete option if you did want to remove a field. We do caution you with this, just be extra careful.
So now let's go ahead and scroll up and we're going to select the Design It tab. And this is where you'll edit the style, color, font, and graphics of your sign up form and response emails, as well as the page and body layout of these forms. So we're going to make a few of those changes now, starting with the page section. We're going to go ahead and choose a background color. So for our business, our main brand color is a dark green. So we're going to make that change here quickly just to reflect what our brand looks like. I'm going to pick the right color. Awesome. So now choosing header, we can scroll over the header and then select to change it. So if this is your first time editing your sign up form, you would see a section here that says use image instead. And clicking in there will launch our Content Studio, which is a place in Mailchimp where you can store all of your images and files. So we have a header image that we've already imported that we use in our email campaigns. So for consistency, we're going to find that here, select it, and then click Insert at the top right. And if you want, you can also link this image to your website or another landing page here. So we're going to type in our site and then click on Save and Insert Image.
All right, so now let's go ahead and click on Body up here in this menu. And now you're going to see the main area of our sign up form is now highlighted in red, as you can see right here. So in this section, you'll be able to edit the foreground color, the default text, and other link styles. Now, next up in the submenu, let's go ahead and select Forms right here. And in this section, you'll have the options to edit the colors and the text styles for the forms buttons, the fields, and the error messages. And finally, let's talk about the Referral Badge tab right here. Here you can edit which default Mailchimp badge is seen on your forms. Or, as some of you may know, just a pro tip, if you're on any paid plan, you can disable this badge at any time, so wouldn't it be seen on your forms or your emails. It's important to note that any design changes you make here in this Design It tab, like changing background color or font, will be inherited by all of your other pages and response emails. This just helps to build that brand consistency for all of the pages that your subscribers will interact with and saves you some time in the long run.
So next up, let's select the Translate It tab in the top menu. And this section is where you'll translate your sign up form and response emails or customize default text. Mailchimp's forms are English by default, but you can change the default language to suit your audience. You can choose from more than 50 supported languages, and we'll translate the form field placeholders, alerts, sign up button, and most other text. However, if you do want to change the wording of the default text, you would need to translate the fields manually. So for example, if you want to translate the form and change the default address to say postal address in your desired language, you would manually do that here.
All right, so now let's go ahead and before we jump into types of forms that you can add to your website, we did want to take a moment to show everyone our integrations page in your Mailchimp account. So let's go ahead and select the square dots icon from the main left side navigation panel right here. And this is where you can connect a website if you have one. So for example, an e-commerce site that you run. And by connecting your site to Mailchimp, you'll be able to take advantage of additional Mailchimp features, which include being able to automatically add a pop-up form to your site.
And as you can see here, we already have our BigCommerce and our Square sites for our various stores that we've already connected. So also from this page, you can search for specific integrations or filter by integration type. So for example, we'll select e-commerce, and we could search for a specific integration to use from the available list here, like Magento, Big Cartel, etc. We can also select custom website from the left menu. This is if you have a fully custom built site and you want to connect it to Mailchimp using custom code. So now that we've explored the integrations page, we're going to jump back in and look at our forms, starting with embedded. So to do this, we'll select audience in our side navigation bar, and then we'll pick sign up forms again. And this time we'll scroll down to select our embedded forms. So as you might remember from earlier, this type of form, the embedded form, is ideal for use on your website, if you have one, because you can embed it right on the site directly. Have you ever seen a sign up for emails here box at the bottom, top, or the side of a brand's website? That is likely an embedded form.
So here on this embedded forms page in your Mailchimp audience, you can choose from some basic options of what you'd like for your form to appear like. And just as a note, if you would like to edit the look and feel of the form to match your site, you'll need to do that after it's been added to your site. And this will require a knowledge of custom coding, so just keep that in mind before you start creating your form in Mailchimp. This embedded form offers a few types of, this embedded form builder offers a few types of forms. So first up here, we have the classic form, which we're looking at right now. And this will look the most like the hosted Mailchimp signup forms that we just looked at. And these offer more traditional signup form fields and allow you to customize additional fields and options, including form title and width, and visible and required fields, groups, and other format options. All right, and next up in this menu is Condensed Forms, which are great for a sidebar on your website. The condensed form only includes an email address field. So if your audience has required fields other than the email address, or if you want more customization options, we would recommend that you use one of the other form options here.
And then we have horizontal, which often works well on a website footer. This form is also very simple and just focuses on collecting a user's email address. And then we have unstyled forms, which have no defined styles. They're similar to the classic form, but don't include any formatting. The unstyled form allows greater control and flexibility. You can include a title, specify form width, determine which form fields to display and require, link to your campaign archive, and more. Once you have designed and edited your form, you can generate the code that you see here and then copy and paste that onto your site. Many third-party website platforms make it easy to embed Mailchimp sign-up forms, and we'll be sending out resources about our embedded forms after the webinar. And if you're unsure at all, we recommend that you check your website provider's support page for guidance.
All right, so from here, let's go ahead and click to the Sign Up Forms tab once more in this left side menu. And this time we're gonna scroll down and select Subscriber Pop-up right there. So pop-up forms help you connect with the people who visit your website. And you can use the pop-up form editor to design and customize a pop-up form and add a special offer or discount or special hello message to help grow your audience and boost your sales. Now, in this pop-up form editor, you can navigate between the 3 tabs on the left here to customize your form. So there's the style, there's the layout, and settings menu. So first up, let's start with style. And here is where you can choose the fonts or the font colors and the font size for your form. So if you want to change it up at all, you can just do so right here. You can change the size right there. Awesome. Now let's click back and choose layout right there. And here you can choose one of the 5 pop-up templates. And as a note, all layouts will appear as a banner on mobile devices, but you can navigate between them, see which one you like, and then just pick one. And let's click back once more, and let's choose settings. And this will allow you to control how the pop-up will appear on your site. So here you can adjust things such as display delay and position on your site. And that's just where you want the pop-up to slide out from on your website. So let's go ahead and we'll change this to, I like 5 seconds, so let's keep 5 seconds. We can select the slide position right there. Now, if you want to edit the pop-up's images, its fields, or labels, you can do so by working directly on the pop-up image right here.
So first, to add an image, we'll select Set Image here, and this is going to launch our Content Studio again. So we'll go ahead and pick this image here, and then choose to insert it. And once that's been added, then we're going to ask our subscribers to sign up by incentivizing them with a 20% discount on their first order. So let's take a moment to do that now. And we have an automated welcome email set up. So this welcome discount will be sent to the subscriber shortly after they sign up through the pop-up form. So next, we'll add a field to our pop-up by selecting the plus icon here. Fields allow you to select to show certain audience fields or make them required. So we're going to add a first name field to our pop-up so we can collect this information from users when they're signing up. We also want to include our group for gardening level on our form, and this allows new subscribers to tell us how proficient they are at gardening right when they sign up. So note that if you click into the field, you can then customize it further if you need to. So for example, you can toggle this required field to make the field mandatory. Or to add some guidance for a field, toggle on the description slider and then add in extra details as you might need to. Just finishing up our little description here.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Cool. Yeah, we just wanted to give a quick note just to let people know like what the field was in case they had any questions. Now, if you want to reorder your form fields, you can do so by just clicking these arrows right here for up or down. We could also change the button color on our form right there, and we can just click on that to do that. So let's take a moment to select the button and then just change the color of it. So for example, we want to change that to white. And we're going to choose a green here just to help match our brand color. So let's choose that one. Perfect. All right, and once we're all set, going up, we can just click preview up here, which will allow you, so right up here at the very top, this is going to allow you to see how your form will appear to your visitors after it's published. So let's click in. Let's give it a moment to load, and there you go. You can also see the mobile banner here.
And now that we're done customizing the form, we're ready to add it to our site. If you don't have a site connected to Mailchimp, you'll have the option instead to generate some custom code and then add it manually to your site. Alternatively, if you've connected your store through our integrations page, like we did with BigCommerce, you would just click save and then publish here. and then we'll automatically save your design choices and connect the pop-up form right to your site. And with that, we finished up running through our Sign Up Forms tutorial today. Way to go. Thank you so much for following along. Let's take a look at everything that we learned today. And here's the learning journey slide one last time. So to recap, we went over some core audience concepts, discussed types of forms, then moved on to audience settings and fields. We then spent some time in Mailchimp walking through options for setting up your own forms, and wrapped up with creating some different types of forms together.
Now, just as a reminder, stay tuned. You'll also be receiving a recording of this tutorial in case you missed anything or want to go back again, as well as follow-up resources. Thanks again for following along with today's tutorial, Grow Your Audience with Sign Up Forms. We really appreciate you all following along. And from here in Atlanta, Nicole and I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us today. And have the best rest of your day, everyone.